Hello everyone, it's Christine here and I'm back for our stitch along, and we're continuing with couching stitch and doing variations of that. And our stitch for today is couching Bokhara stitch, where one continuous thread is used for both laying down a thread and also putting little anchoring stitches over it. And this stitch can be used to fill shapes. It's similar to Romanian couching, but in the Bokhara couching, the anchoring stitch is short on the surface and then long on the back of the fabric, or the wrong side of the fabric. So let's have a go, and I'm going to be doing it in this little heart shape because I'm getting a very Frenchy vibe with this particular piece of fabric and the threads and ribbons I've used so far. So I'm going to do it here, but you could just practice it in a straight line in sort of like a square if you wanted as well. So I'm going to pop my needle up on the left hand side, and I'm going to do my first long stitch across, just basically trying to be straight across from the top of the heart. So I'll just try and be straight. You know, I struggle with that at the best of times. And then I'm going to continue doing a straight stitch across. So if you were doing a square, you'd go all the way across with your thread in a long thread, and then we're going to be adding some anchoring stitches to it. So let's assume you've got to the other side of whatever shape you're filling, and then you're going to pop up a little ways into it, and you're going to put, actually I might just do one in the very middle, I think here. You're going to put a little diagonal stitch over, so you'll pop up slightly below the thread like I've done there, and then you'll take your needle just slightly over to put a little diagonal stitch and put the needle back in above the laid thread. So you're getting just a very small diagonal stitch. You can probably barely see that, but it is just popping up slightly back from the middle of that thread and below the thread. Should probably need to be a tiny bit further down. And then taking your needle just back in a bit further across to the left above the thread, just to get that little diagonal stitch in place. And then we're going to repeat that procedure at whatever sort of distance apart you want your threads. Again, trying to keep myself straight. We shall see how I go without lines to follow. Could end up being very, very crooked. Hope you're having a great day or a great evening. It's the weekend now, so I'm just getting my videos done for the stitch along for the week ahead. So again, just popping up in that sort of that central, the middle-ish bit. So you can make all your diagonal ones directly below each other, or you can sort of alternate it a bit. It really gives you some flexibility, but you want your little anchoring stitches to be holding down your longer stitches. So it's a good way where you can use longer stitches but not have them sort of flapping around or catching on the surface of your fabric, because you've got that little anchoring stitch holding it down. So you're always working left to right and then coming back with those anchoring stitches right to left and then popping out again on the left. Oops, caught on my ring. Oops, is that one a bit crooked? I'm sure it will be okay. So I was saying to the girls in our live chat last night, which was Friday night, here I am super excited because I've booked in to join the Fleur Wood retreat that's happening in March in Australia next year, and it's in the southern highlands of New South Wales. So Alex, Travis and I are going to go out for a little holiday there, so the boys can have their daytime free while I'm at the retreat, and it's just going to be amazing. It's all going to be about creating amazing natural textures. So whether it's rock pools or seaside sort of textures, or moss and forest and rainforest. It's going to be absolutely incredible to extend my stitchery practice. And then just for some added excitement, as though it's not enough, the Roxy girls, so Sarah and Rachel and Juju, I believe, are going to be in attendance as well, taking part in the same retreat. So how wonderful to meet my much admired fellow stitchers. So I am just uber excited. Alex said I probably won't actually shut up about it until he didn't quite say it that way, but he said I'll probably be talking about it for the next the next however many months it is until March next year, and I probably will. But it was actually him today. He's like, "Oh, can you give me the name of the town where we're staying?" So he was a bit excited, I think, about the idea of a holiday already booked in for next year is nice. And because we have Travis, we just don't want to do overseas trips and not be able to travel with him and have to sort of leave him. I mean, my parents would be a very good place that he could stay, but we would miss him too much. So it's much better if we go on family holidays where we can take him along too. So as you can see with that longer stitch, and I could have even done a little stitch in the middle, but that's okay. I can even do one on the way back if I want to. So again, popping up. So I'm still sort of following that line down where I've been doing my little anchoring stitches. And then I think I will do one in the centre, both for the stitch above, but also for the row that I'm just on. So yeah, if you do decide somewhere needs an extra stitch, you can easily just add it as you're passing back across the fabric. In there. Feel like I probably will ultimately do maybe one more row at the top too, because otherwise my hearts are going to look a little bit blunt. I might actually do that now. I'll just take my thread up and fix that up. Give me a nicer shape. I think it might even need another second little row at the top. Let me know in the comments if you happen to be going to the same workshop, because I would love to meet some other. It's just going to be so lovely to be amongst kindred spirits. I've not been to a stitchery or textile art workshop or retreat before, so this will be an absolute joy, a pure joy activity. Just so excited to be amongst stitching kindred spirits and artistic and creative kindred spirits. Okay, so those ones are probably short enough that I don't actually have to put another stitch in, although I did make this one up the top just a tiny bit too short, I think, so I'll just add an extra stitch to fill that out. It's better. Okay, so back to the proceedings down here. We're just going to continue doing our long stitches across. And then coming back and doing our little stitches to anchor it down on the diagonal. So it's real, I mean, it's similar to when you're doing just pure couching, where you're going vertically up over the thread, just sort of bottom to top or top to bottom to hold it down. This one's just got a slightly diagonal formation, but when the thread's as thin as this, you probably can't even quite tell whether it is just a purely straight stitch or a slightly diagonal stitch. This would be great for doing a little fence shape if you were doing a little garden scene, because you could put all your little diagonal stitches almost like the little winds in the wire that you get on little garden fences. And I know the lovely Susanna, she's having a retreat as well in March. So unfortunately I could only do the one retreat. I won't be able to because I think hers is straight after the Fleur Wood one. But I'd been really waiting for that workshop because she'd done one in Melbourne. Was it earlier this year or last year? That just booked out so fast. At the time, I was just thinking, oh, will I, won't I? And then by the time I'd kind of thought, oh, yeah, I'd like to do it, there were no places. So even this time, it was. She sent out Fleur sent out an email with the date of that workshop right down the bottom of it, and I spotted it. And I think then I contacted some accommodation because I was trying to find dog-friendly accommodation that would also suit Alex's needs if he wants to sort of do working while he's there. And yeah, I was waiting to hear back from the accommodation, so I contacted Green Door Studios where the retreat is being held. And yeah, she said, oh, we've got 2 places left. And I said, oh, please, pretty please, could you just hold one of the places while I wait to hear back from the accommodation? And luckily that was all sort of within a day. And yeah, the lovely Zoe at Green Door Studios, held the place for me. So I didn't miss out because I just said, now that I've made up the mind that I, really, really, really want to go, I'd just be, heartbroken if I missed out just because I was waiting on the accommodation to confirm back. But yeah, we've got beautiful accommodation. I think it was a place, I've seen it actually featured in, subsequently since booking it, featured in like some home decorating and other magazines and things. So I think it was 2 chaps possibly from Sydney, and they fully renovated this beautiful old cottage. And yeah, it's very dog friendly, but beautifully done inside. Just looks like a lovely place to spend some time hanging out as well, which I will have some time besides the workshop or the retreat, because that runs, I think, 10 till 3:30, I think, most days. I think we've got some other activities planned in for the mornings, and on one of the mornings a bushwalk or to see the falls and an Aboriginal birthing pool. And then I think one other afternoon there's an optional visit to another town and a vintage store, which will be fun. And then I think we have a final dinner on the Thursday night at the local pub. And then I've discovered that the little town that we're staying, which is just down the road from where the studio is, they have a dog-friendly hotel with apparently beautiful views out over the southern highlands. So Travis and Alex won't miss out either. We'll make sure they get some fun outings. So yes, very excited indeed about going on a retreat. I haven't done too badly on keeping my rows straight. Not picture perfect, but not totally dire either. Now I think at this point I only need to put my little holding stitch in the centre spot because the sides are now narrowing in. Sure why that stitch then got just a little bit, maybe I skewered it a little bit, that previous stitch just looked a little bit crooked. Oops. Of course I have to unthread my needle. Thought I was going so well, no tangles, no unthreading, but no, it's a Christine video after all, otherwise you'd think it was someone else doing the stitching. Okay, and another stitch just at the bottom. This one I don't think I need to couch it down because it is pretty tiny. So I think that is pretty cute. So I'll probably, I'll get the iron and take the the friction marker outline off it, and then I might even couch down a piece of thread around the outside. Maybe I'll even do a nice blue thread around the outside. But there you go, that is our couching Bokhara stitch in heart shape. Hope you enjoyed that. Hope you'll give it a go. And tomorrow we will be going on to another couching. We'll be doing lattice couching. So I will see you then. Thanks everyone for watching. Bye.